We have this Whirlpool DUET dryer, and it ran into some issues, and I tried to fix it myself, and during this process I learned certain things, so I just wanted to share my findings in this quick video. So if your dryer has problem, or if your dryer doesn't work or does not turn on, the first thing is you always come here, check on the back, and then uh, make sure, I mean, this plug or this electric line is live. You can unplug it and then put your iPhone or your phone charger and see if it charges. If it charges, then the port is good. And if your phone does not charge, then probably your circuit breaker is triggered. You can go and find the circuit breaker and just turn it on and see, and then press the power button here and see if it turns on. If there is some light and the message is, then you know the power supply is good. But if this one does not come up, then there could be a few issues. Your power supply may be bad, or your main circuit board could have gone bad. So for that, you can open uh, the dryer. There are like three different screws here, so you open the screws very easy. They are on the top, very difficult to miss them. Open them up and this cover will come up, and there is a circuit board, and you can replace the circuit board. That could be pretty expensive thing to replace. If your dryer powers on, and if you want to see if there is anything wrong with the circuit board, then most new dryers, mostly Whirlpool and Kenmore dryers, they come with the self-diagnostic codes and the circuitry for that. So for this particular Whirlpool DUET model, you come here and you see these two switches. Just press them, 1 2 1 2, and then see, you start with the up button here, press it once, then press the negative button, this button here, again this one, again this one, and if you see like all 8 and all lights are lit up, there is no red light, then your circuit board is working fine. Press any button and then you can come out of the diagnostic mode. So if your diagnostic gives you some code, then you can always Google it along with your dryer model number, and you can find what is wrong with that. But most of the time, most of the issues with the dryer, a gas dryer or electric dryer, are here. They are inside, you know. So this is the exhaust blower here. So first thing is you can open it up, and then you can check it and you can clean it. To open it is pretty easy. See, here is the box that I have taken it out, and it is connected by 3 screws here. There is like 1 screw here, 2nd screw here, 3rd and 4th. Once you take out the screws, and then you can pull the cover out, and then you can also take this one out for the exhaust blower. So let me show you one thing. I'm opening this one. So once you open, take the clean this one out, and once you take it out, then you can again close this one, come back here, and then there are screws here. If you can find it, a screw, if you can see the screw here, so take that screw, another screw here, 2 more screws. You take them out and you can open it, and you can just see, and you can very well clean it. You can buy some equipment from Home Depot and clean it, or I just use a blower and just put the blue air inside, and if the air just went inside, it just told me that everything is good and clean. So that wasn't the issue. Now when I was trying to fix my dryer, I watched a lot of videos, and every video talked about certain pieces, certain things. None of them gave the complete idea, and I ended up buying all these parts. One video I watched, they said that most of the time, if the dryer does not heat or dryer doesn't work, then the thermal fuse is bad. So these are the thermal fuses. On eBay or on Amazon, I found like 4 for $10, and I said, okay, why not just order 4? I got 4 of them, but that wasn't the issue. And also you can, with any multimeter, and you can also find a lot of videos on YouTube, and you can see, you can taste the components yourself. Just put the positive and negative, put the multimeter in the ohms reading, and see if the fuse is open or it is closed. If it does not give you any reading, then probably it's bad. But if it gives you some resistance reading, then the fuse is good. It's not a problem. So these are the fuses, and then this is a thermistor. So thermistor, so I'm down again here, and I'll show you where these pieces are. So here on this exhaust or the link thing, you can see two pieces here. The inside one, okay, let me take it inside a little bit more. So the one in the front, that is the thermistor, and the one inside with the blue and the red wire, that is the fuse. So let me show you both of them. So here, so this is the fuse which is inside, and this is the thermistor. Okay, so what do they do? I mean, in newer dryers, if it does not power on, then maybe your fuse has gone bad. I'm talking about this fuse with these two connectors. So this could be bad. Just replace it and you should be good. But now what happens, this is a thermistor. It looks like this with this one. So what is a thermistor? Thermistor is a thermal resistor. So based on the temperature on this part, you know, when it's working, then it heats up, and the thermistor would sense the temperature by the reading of the resistance, and then it would send it back to the control panel. So when it gets hot to certain level, then based on the setting, high, low or medium on your drying cycle, the thermistor would send the signal to the control panel, and the control panel would turn the heat off. So what happens? What do these two parts do here? See, the thermistor tells or communicates the temperature in the system. So if the thermistor is not working, then what happens? The heat cycle is going on. This whole thing gets hotter and hotter, and then but the main control unit does not get any reading. So in that case, the fuse is a safety mechanism. Instead of letting the whole dryer get very hot, it would just turn off. The fuse would go off, and then it would go bad. So if the thermistor is bad, probably your fuse would also be blown out. And if the thermistor has gone bad, then probably your heater would not heat at all, or it would heat too much, and then it would blow the fuse off. So now, besides those two parts, there are some other important parts also. You would see here two circuits. It is like there are two small motors, solenoid motors here. But if you look very much inside, then you see those wires. Okay, I'm trying to focus them. So that one also has two different components. Let me show you them. So I have just turned it on to show you how this thing works. My dryer is on. So inside, if you see, that's the heating panel. I have a gas connector, so it lights up first, and then after some time you would see fire inside. Now you see the gas is blowing inside, and it's all heating up. So on the heating element, there are two things. One of them is the fuse. So when the heating element, this is another safety mechanism. So when there is a lot of heat going on, you need something to turn it off to prevent fire or fire in the house. So this one is another fuse. or thermo, forget the name, whatever they call it, but it's like the high temperature fuse. So whenever that heating element reaches up to some point, then to prevent the fire, it would just blow bad, and once that piece goes bad, the whole thing, I mean, you would have to just replace it. And this one is probably the thermistor. Now I don't know what is the name, but what it does, I mean, so basically it turns on and off. So the control unit tells this part, and then based on this part, it makes it hot to some extent, and then after some temperature is reached, it just turns it off. And then the control unit would talk with the thermistor, this piece that we showed you earlier, and then again when it gets some hot, it just turns the whole thing off. And after some temperature, when the temperature has dropped to certain level inside the dryer, then it would send the signal back to this component, and this component would just turn the fire on, and it would get into another heat cycle. So these two small, the black pieces here, I mean, you can see, I mean, there are two screws next to them. Pretty easy to find the screws, and then just use the screws, open them up, it comes out. And then you can look at these two different pieces. One of them has two connectors, another one has three connectors. So the problem with my dryer was that it would heat up the first time, and then it turns off after reaching certain temperature, and then it would not, the control board would try to turn the heater on, the heating element, but somehow the gas would not start and it would not heat again. So the dryer would keep running for hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, but it would not heat enough. So the thing was, it would heat up one time, but then it would not heat again. And then I kept the panel open here, and I kept watching, and I could see that the inside chamber was getting red, but somehow the gas wasn't starting. And I think this is a very common problem. So if you have this kind of issue, then most probably these parts have gone bad, these two things, because they do not turn on the gas connection. They do not let the gas come in and ignite them. The ignition does not happen, and that is why. So probably this part also gets hot, and after getting hot, probably it stops functioning well. So in my situation, the thermal fuse wasn't bad at all because it turned on and it was getting hot one time, so it wasn't the issue. The thermistor wasn't an issue also, because the first time it would heat up and then it would really send the signal to turn off the heat, because heat would not keep going on and on. If it keeps going on and on, then the control unit is not getting the correct temperature reading, and the blame could be this thermistor. But that wasn't an issue in my case. And with these two pieces also, what happens, these are on the heating element, and they also turn on and off, I mean, periodically. So look like that part also worked fine, but then my real problem was here. Probably one of this part, I think the one with the 3-pin was bad. Once you start the heater dryer, after some time, the heating would heat up the temperature inside the dryer, and then this component will also get hot, and once it gets hot, it stopped functioning. So that was the thing, and once I replaced that, my dryer came back to life, and it all worked fine. So to give you an idea, these thermal fuses, I mean, they are very standard. You can pay $10-20 for OEM one, or you can buy the generic one on eBay or on Amazon, and if they have good reviews, then probably you can go with them. They are like $2-3, $4 a piece. Thermistor the same, I think $5 at most. These two black pieces, they're also like $10 for the pair. When you're replacing, just replace both of them. This thermistor and high resistance cutoff, they are also, I think, around $10. I got like 4 pieces together for like $10. To be very sure, you can take out all these pieces, and then they all have connectors. So with multimeter, you can put on the resistance measuring on the smallest resistance, or you can try different ones, and then connect and see. I mean, if they are open. If they are open, then the reading would not change at all. If you have a digital one, then you can just put on the noise one, or the sound signal one, and it will tell you if the part is open or bad. If it is open, then you just replace it, and simple life. But what happens with the with this thermal cutoff, the cycle component, it turns on and off. So what happens, in the normal temperature it may be working fine, but in the high temperature it doesn't work. So if you really want to test it, then you have to put it on the heat and then see if it works properly. But in normal circumstances, the resistance reading may tell you that the part is fine. And the same thing happens with these two pieces also. For me, I mean, these pieces gave correct good reading. They just seemed fine when I was testing with a multimeter in the regular temperature. But when they started heating up and they reached at certain temperature, then it would just start malfunctioning, and then it would not work properly. So when the next cycle starts and the heating element is ready for the heat, one of them would not just turn on, let the gas go, and would not start the ignition there. So I removed. So I think probably this would give a pretty good idea. But if you have any comment, just leave a comment at the bottom, and I'll try to help you out. Thank you. Bye. And if you like this video, just subscribe it. Every YouTuber says that, and I'm going to say that too.